Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to talk about today is something that a community member wants me to speak on. And she said, I'm sending you this as we have went over this before, but so many people are stuck on it. It's expired food. It's rotten food when it's not rotten. So we're going to talk about it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over the general consensus, really. Okay, best if used by is a type of date that you might find on a meat, poultry, or egg product label. Are dates required on these food products? Does it mean the product will be unsafe if used after that date? Well, two types of products dating may be shown on a product label. Open dating, okay, is a calendar date applied to a food product by the manufacturer or by the retailer. The calendar date, it provides consumers with information on the estimated period of time for which the product will be of best quality, if you will, to help the store determination how long to display the product for sale. Now, the closing date is a code that consists of a series of letters or numbers applied by manufacturers to identify the date and the time of production. So, does the federal law require food product dating? Well, except for infant formula, product dating is not required by federal regulations. For meat and dairy, poultry, egg, dairy, egg falls under dairy. That's why I said dairy, okay? So I really don't think this is like for egg, from like milk and cheese, okay? So just say egg. It falls under the jurisdiction of the Food and Safety Inspection Services, or FSIS. These dates may be voluntarily applied, provided they are labeled in a manner that is truthful and not misleading and in the compliance with FSIS and the regulations. And in order to comply, a calendar date must be expressed, both the month and the day of the month, in the case of shelf-stable and frozen products. The year must also be displayed. Additionally, immediately adjacent to the date must be a phrase explaining the meaning of that date, such as best if used by. And manufacturers, they provide dating to help consumers and retailers decide when food is best of quality. Except for infant formula, like I said, because dates are not an indicator of the product's safety and they are not required by federal law. So, how do manufacturers determine the quality dates? Well, factors including the lengths of time and the temperatures at which a food is held during distribution and offered for sale, and the characteristics of the food and the type of packaging will also affect how long a product will be of optimum quality. Manufacturers and retailers will consider these factors when determining the date for which the product will be of best quality. So, for example, if you have sausage that was formulated with certain ingredients that's used to preserve the quality of the product, or fresh beef that's packaged in a modified atmosphere packaging system that helps ensure that the product will stay fresh for as long as possible. These products will typically maintain product quality for a longer period of time because of how the products are formulated and how they're packaged. And the quality of perishable packaging and products may deteriorate after that date passes. However, these products should still be safe if handled properly. So consumers must evaluate the quality of the product prior to consumption to determine if the product shows any sign of spoilage. So what kind of food is actually dated? Well, open dating is found on most foods like meat, poultry, egg, and dairy, okay? Closed or coded dates are a series of letters and numbers that are typically appearing on shelf-stable products like canned food, boxed food. So what date labeling phrases are actually used? Well, there's no uniform way or universally accepted description that is used on food labels for open dating in the United States. And as a result, there are a wide variety of phrases used on labels to describe quality dates. You have best if used by, best if used by before, sell by, use by, freeze by, okay? So the USDA, they estimate that 30% of the food supply is lost or it's wasted at a retail and consumer levels. And I've said it before, we have to stop doing this. We have to stop wasting food, okay? And one source of food waste arises from consumers or retailers just throwing away all of this food because of why? Confusion. And this confusion about the meaning of these dates that is displayed on the labels. So to reduce consumer confusion and wasted food, FSIS, they are recommending that food manufacturers and retailers apply product dating used as best if used by. But if you use it after, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's really not, okay? So research shows that this phrase, it's actually conveying to customers that the product will be best quality if used by that calendar date. Foods not exhibiting signs of spoilage or smell or rot, you know what I'm saying, should be wholesome and may be sold, purchased, and donated, consumed beyond that labeled best by date. So, are foods safe to eat after that date passes? Well, with an exception of infant formula. If the date passes during home storage, a product should still be safe and wholesome if handled properly until the time spoilage is evident. Spoiled foods will develop an odor, if you will, okay? Flavor or texture that's due to naturally occurring spoilage bacteria. And if a food has developed this and these characteristics, don't eat it. Then you have, let's just talk about this real quick. You have microorganisms, molds, yeasts, bacteria. They can multiply and they can cause food spoilage. Viruses are not capable of growing in food and they do not cause spoilage. There are two types of bacteria that can be found on food, and it's pathogenic bacteria, which can cause foodborne illnesses, and spoilage bacteria, which do not cause illnesses, but do cause food to deteriorate and develop unpleasant characteristics, such as an undesirable taste or an odor, making the food not wholesome. So when this spoilage bacteria have nutrients, moisture, time, favorable temperatures, these conditions will allow the bacteria to grow rapidly and affect the quality of the food. Food spoilage can occur much faster if food is not stored and handled properly. Now, a change in the color of meat or poultry is not an indicator of spoilage, okay? So, what are the requirements of dating infant formula? Because I know that quite a few people in our community, we stockpile baby formula for friends and family, okay? Federal regulations require a use by date on the product label of infant formula under inspection of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. Consumption by this date ensures that the formula contains not less than the quantity of each nutrient as described on that label. Formula must maintain an acceptable quality to pass through an ordinary bottle nipple. The use-by date is selected by the manufacturer, packer, or distributor of that product on the basis of product analysis throughout its shelf life, the tests, and other information as well. It also is based on the conditions of handling and storage, preparation, and use printed on the label. Do not buy or use baby formula after its used by date. So what do CAN codes mean? CAN codes are a type of closed dating which enable the tracking of product in interstate commerce. These codes are also enable manufacturers to rotate their stock and locate their products in the event of a recall. How many recalls have we seen over the past 3 years? It's absurd, right? So CAN codes appear as a series of letters and/or numbers and refer to the date the product was canned. The codes are not meant for the consumer to interpret as a best if used by date. Cans must exhibit a code or the date of canning, and cans may also display a open or calendar date, and usually these are best if used by dates for peak quality. Now discard these cans that are dented or rusted or swollen. High acid canned foods like tomatoes and fruits will keep their best quality for about 12 to 18 months after the fact. Whereas like low acid canned foods like meats and veg, they will keep for about 2 to 5 years after the fact, okay? Now, additional information on food canning and the handling of canned food can be found on different websites like shelf-stable food safety websites and the like, okay? So can food be donated after the date passes? Absolutely. The quality of perishable products may deteriorate after the date passes, but the products should be wholesome, if not exhibiting signs of spoilage. Now, food banks, okay, other charitable organizations, and consumers should evaluate the product and the quality of the product prior to its distribution and consumption to whether they are noticeable changes in the wholesomeness, okay? So now let's talk about eggs. What do the dates on the egg cartons mean? All right, well, use of either a sell-by or an expiration date is not a federal regulation, but it may be required as defined by the egg laws. Yes, there are egg laws in the state where the eggs are marketed. Some state egg laws do not allow the use of a sell-by date. I know. Many eggs reach stores only days after hens lay the eggs, and egg cartons with the USDA grade shield on them must display the pack date. And this is the day that the eggs were washed, graded, and placed in a carton. Now, this number is a 3-digit code that represents the consecutive day of the year, starting with January 1st as 001 and ending with December 31 as 365. Now, when a sell-by date appears on a carton bearing the USDA grade shield, the code date may not exceed 30 days from that date of pack. Now, after purchasing eggs, it is recommended to refrigerate them in their original carton and place them in the coldest part of the fridge, not in the door, due to loss of coolness from repeatedly opening that door. So why are there barcodes on food packages? Well, you know what a UPC is, right? When you go to the self-checkout, like every store is self-checkout now, and you scan that code, that's the UPC. This is a barcode that appears on packages like black lines, varying widths, and they go up and down, okay, above a series of numbers. And they are not required by regulation, but manufacturers print them on most product labels because scanners at the supermarkets read them quickly to record the price at the checkout. It also helps with inventory as well for the store, so they know what to order and what not to order. And UPS codes are also used by stores and manufacturers for marketing information as well. So when read by a computer, a UPC can reveal like information as like the manufacturer's name, the product name, the size of the product, and the price. And the numbers are not used to identify recalled products, which stinks, I know, but it's true. So then you have a SKU number. It's a stock keeping unit. And this code is a number that is assigned to a product by a company or a retailer for stock keeping purposes and international, internal operations. And this is a particular product that may have different SKUs if sold by different companies and different retailers. So how does date labeling impact food waste? Well, there's confusion. There's confusion over the meaning of dates applied to food products, and they can result in consumers discarding wholesome food. So in an effort to reduce food waste, which I'm all about, it is important to consumers that you understand, that we understand, that the dates applied to food are for quality and not safety. The food products are safe to consume past the date on that label. And regardless of that date, consumers should evaluate the quality of the food product prior to its consumption. So where can you find more information on proper food handling? Well, if foods are mishandled before or after the date on the package, and bacteria, including pathogenic bacteria that can cause foodborne illnesses, they can quickly multiply. All right. For example, if cold chicken salad is taken to a picnic and it's left out in temperatures that is like extremely balls hot, all right, for more than 2 hours, the product should not be consumed. Just saying. All right. Other examples of potential mishandling are meat and poultry products that have been defrosted improperly or handled by people who don't practice good sanitation. If you don't wash your hands after touching raw chicken, I don't know what. All right. So make sure to follow the handling and preparation instructions on the label to ensure top quality and safety, and not for nothing but common sense. All right. So I hope that this is not just a refresher for a lot of people, but like the community member said, food that has an expiration date or a best by date, okay, it's not rotten. It doesn't need to be thrown away. Like even, with the canned meat, you still got about another 5 years to use it after it's already expired. Just think about all the food that you've pressure canned. According to the LDS, it's indefinite. You're good. Okay? So don't worry about the expiration dates. Really don't. Okay? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one, okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less.